You sure about this?
No, not really.
Where some games pay homage by including Easter eggs or comical references, Inversion goes the less subtle route, brazenly copying the look and feel of Epic's Gears of War. Does its lone selling point, the ability to alter gravity, offer some redemption? Or is it forgotten amidst the grit, grime, and grunts?
Oh shit, watch out!
We have lived as fools for ages, unaware of our own false existence and our inevitable demise. We should have seen this coming.
Set in the fictitious city of Vanguard, Inversion's story focuses on two police officers who look like they'd rather be hefting dumbbells than donuts. On a routine drive home, the protagonists find themselves smack dab in the middle of a citywide invasion by the unclean cast of Mad Max. The barbaric invaders reduce everything around them to rubble and ruin before taking what's left of the population prisoner, including the two officers.
We stop them! We catch them and give sacrifice to Lord!
You'll need to help the duo escape captivity and explore the ravaged city to locate the lead protagonist's missing daughter, fighting off enemies each step of the way. The story is primarily told through brief but frequent cinematics that routinely play after you complete a battle or enter a new area, which end up feeling like uneventful filler.
She's not your daughter. She's not yours.
Although the story in most shooters typically takes a backseat to the action, the almost complete lack of surprise, anger, or passion from the characters really sticks out in Inversion. Each battle is treated like it's just another day at the office, with characters cracking jokes in the thick of combat and mumbling dialogue befitting a Z-grade action movie. Houseplants have more charisma, and you'll soon appreciate the on-screen reminder to skip each sequence as it appears.
But this pain is all too real. It's all that remains of what was once my life.
Praise be he hath known. He shall lead us to light.
Inversion features a 14-chapter campaign that's playable alone or in co-op with an online friend. Since the game borrows heavily, almost shamelessly, from Gears of War, the action will be as familiar to fans of Epic's third-person shooter series as Augustus Cole's nickname. The cover system is nearly identical, and the linearly constructed levels offer plenty of places to duck and hide while firing variants of assault rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles, grenades, rocket launchers, and other staples of the genre.
Now I feel much better.
Each chapter is filled with numerous checkpoints as you make your way from point A to B across makeshift prisons, bombed-out streets, apartment complexes, and similar locales. Of course, the main hook of Inversion is supposed to be the ability to use the GravLink device, which lets you fire blasts of low or high gravity. Low gravity lets you lift items or even enemies, while high gravity lets you create makeshift bridges or a shield. Yet the GravLink isn't as well integrated into the game's design as you might think. The device is more a tool that's used in very specific spots, often indicated by flashing objects. In combat, it can be amusing to watch enemies float in the air, but it's more for show than utility, as they can still fire their weapons down at you. Inversion also has a multiplayer component that supports up to 12 players in a choice of 6 game types, from Deathmatch to King of the Hill variants, and a progression-based system that lets you earn experience by completing objectives while playing. Yet there's one rather big problem. There are graveyards with more thriving communities. Either there's something broken with the matchmaking system or no one is interested. Trying to join an 8-person deathmatch a week after launch will leave you stuck on searching for players unless you convince friends to schedule some time in advance.
Let's blast them back to hell!
While the game does an effective job at mimicking Gears of War's look, tone, and structure, the similarities are mostly superficial. The bulk of the gameplay, the actual shooting, isn't as satisfying. Since your foes rarely employ any tactics other than standing in one spot and/or crouching behind cover, the combat mostly plays out like a shooting gallery. There's no sense of feedback or kick on the weapons, and your enemies absorb bullets like sponges. You might as well be squirting water from a hose than firing a gun. The controls while in cover work well enough, with one exception being the inability to fire from your left side while leaning. One annoyance is that your AI partner can be critically wounded. If you don't revive him in time, the game ends, and you'll have to restart from your last checkpoint.
You're going soft on me, man. You're even wearing a bracelet.
It's a friendship bracelet.
A friendship bracelet!
Yet the most frustrating part of Inversion is the squandered use of the gravlink, which doesn't elevate the gameplay like it should. For starters, the most useful function of the device is making enemies hover in the air, at which point you can gun them down like a clay pigeon, or if you're close, perform a one-button execution. You can also attempt to throw the equivalent of trash at enemies, but the mechanics involved are a bit clumsy.
Use your gravlink and throw shit at him!
You have to first target the allowable item. You can't toss just anything, mind you. Tap a button to grab it, and then attempt to throw it. While you're doing this, you're most likely being hammered by bullets, so it's much safer to play the game like a standard shooter. There are times when you have to use the gravlink to progress, but these are rather obvious due to the flashing blue or red objects. In some boss fights, you'll use it to throw barrels, while in others, it's not needed at all.
Nice.
The game tries to offer some variation by including blue rifts at specific points in the environment, which instantly alter the planes of gravity after you step through them, allowing you to walk on the sides of buildings or use ceilings as floors. You'll also be thrown in a state of zero gravity at times, requiring you to push toward highlighted pieces of debris while floating in the air, but these scenarios are severely limited in scope. Had the game allowed players to do this at will, Inversion would have been much better for it.
Flying! What the hell?
Don't know if I'd call this flying. It's more like floating.
Let's just get out of here. No, that looks bad.
If you're hoping for a new look in your third-person shooter from the traditional browns and grays, then Inversion will leave you disappointed. The game offers some nicely detailed textures in the environments, but the dated character models look more wax-like than real. The enemies also look remarkably similar to one another, making you wonder if they've mastered some cloning technology as well. The voice acting is below average, with stilted banter between the leads despite the fact that their city has just been completely devastated and their loved ones are missing. The best part of the presentation is the guttural, unintelligible speech from the enemies, who show more zeal than the protagonists.
This man give up. Them is rise
It was then that it dawned on me. My life was over. There was nothing worth living for and nothing worth fighting for.
Inversion is a hodgepodge mix of features culled from other games, and it squanders its chance to set itself apart by failing to incorporate the gravlink device as something more than a gimmick. You can't alter the environment at will or even manipulate your choice of objects outside of a select few pieces of junk. It is yet another game with potentially interesting mechanics that fail to deliver on their promise, making Inversion's approach to gravity feel more plodding than liberating.
I could live within the specter of death if it meant leaving behind a legacy, a piece of me. But now I've got nothing. In a few minutes I'll be dead, and I won't feel the pain anymore.